Welcome back, Weather Kingdom. Here we are going to be taking a look at the tropics as we got some interesting data to share with you guys. Yes, I know I haven't been loading, but I've been working quite a bit and I haven't really had time and the energy to record. And yeah, I'm going to try and get this video out tonight and hopefully try and keep you guys updated on it. But here's the tropics. This is the satellite imagery presentation of it. And pretty much we got some things going on here. We got a long lingering low where Invest 93L was, never got its formation. Honestly, it went through New Orleans, then into these areas, came back out, and then went into the Gulf, and now it's pretty much here. It kind of did a loop, never really got its name, never even became a depression, pretty much weak. Right now, it's just bringing some showers, rain into Texas and Louisiana, some more of it. But we also have some severe weather going on back in the plains, all the way over here, and then pretty much a stable atmosphere all through the northeast and east coast. Besides that tropical disturbance, nothing really in the eastern Pacific. Pretty much dried out, so no activity in the eastern Caribbean. We still got some of that shear getting brought in here. Not as much as we saw a few weeks ago, but there is just a little bit that will keep development a little bit limited. But some things I do want to point out. We do have another plume of Saharan dust here coming out right here in the Saharan air here. This is a lot of dust. This is going to keep this first wave of tropical activity. You can tell we do have a pretty amped up wave right here. You could tell because you got that curling band right there. You got that. It's nothing, positive, just wave access. But we also have another wave back here trying to come off, another weak one. But something back here that could try and develop in the future terms as the activity gets a little bit easier. Alright, the waters have increased a lot too. If we take a look at the water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico, all the Gulf is around 30 degrees Celsius, some spots around 31, even 32 degrees Celsius. And this is honestly very primed in the Gulf for a big hurricane, honestly. And even the northern Caribbean islands like Cuba, Bahamas, even up in the subtropics near Bermuda and stuff, all reaching 29, 30 degrees Celsius, even all the way up into the Outer Banks. So very doable for hurricane activity. Warming up pretty good now in the Caribbean, the western MDR regions, even the main development region now starting to get some activity going too in the future. Very, very warm waters here too. A lot of these yellows, and I do expect all these yellows to pretty much come in and take this area over here. But a lot of 27s, 28s now coming in. This is going to help activity as we get into later August into September. Still very cold waters in the northern part. That's because that Saharan dust keeps it pretty cold, and we still have those plumes of Saharan dust. I now want to take a look at the European model, okay? And I want to take you guys a look at a potential tropical wave we're going to be taking a look at here. So, we take a look in the next 24 hours, nothing, okay? We got some showers and thunderstorms here. That dead wave there, that kind of just crashes into the Western Antilles. Never really become anything. But if we take a look at the next 72 hours, wave will be coming off Africa. Pretty amped up wave. Some more moisture. High pressure up here. We still got that plume of Saharan dust going on. But we also see the next, let's go, 96 hours. This is in 4 days from now. Still a little bit of an axis wave here, nothing too much. A low coming off the Carolinas here. But besides that, tropics staying steady at least in the next 4 days. But if we go into the 5-day mark, we get a pretty amped up tropical wave here with some pretty good convection. Okay, look at that, very good convection. Even a low pressure showing up, some showers, thunderstorms. Probably one of the better looking waves out of the year. Probably the best, and probably even the best environments. Okay, we take a look in the next 126 hours. This is the next 5 days, and the wave is still there. This is about 5 to 6 days. We got that wave access going on. Nothing consolidated, but still holding its ground with tropical development. Still some very dry air coming off the African coast area, and we're going to be taking a look at that if we could down in the modeling. Now we go in the next 144. This is now about 6 days out, 6 to 7 days out, and yeah, we get a amped up wave here, a low pressure even, and this is a pretty strong tropical wave. It actually holds itself pretty good, and this is the better looking wave, and honestly the European has been the most aggressive. Now we keep taking a look, and the wave still there, kind of breaking, having some trouble. But as we get into the Western Antilles, we see a pretty strong tropical wave. A strong tropical wave going to the Western Antilles. A cold front here. We got some pretty good waves coming off Africa, but nothing really still going on. That will be hatched in the next few days. But this goes into the Bahamas, and it does get turned out because of a cold front. But we see this kind of turn out, kind of becomes a tropical depression, and then a tropical storm gets brought up all the way up into the northeast, and then that's it. 360 hours out, we still got some tropical activity. But why does it not develop? Pretty much, bottom line is, best wave on the model yet this season, and just telling me and showing me signs that the Atlantic is going to try and wake up at least with one storm chance. But a lot of the issue here is that dry air. It's going to be surrounded by dry air, and I think this might even struggle a lot more than the models really show. Because look at all this dry air. I mean, this is drier on this side of the storm, southern side of the storm, northern side, and western. It's going to be one of these storms that's going to have to continue to make its own moisture bubble to stay alive in these conditions. It does get better as you get into the Bahamas, but you still got dry air, and it really does struggle. But in the future, it looks like the dry air does kind of go north. That kind of opens the tropics for some business, because look at that upwards motion, a lot more, even northern parts, a lot less drier in these areas, and I do think by this time we could be talking about a few more tropical waves. We take a look at the GFS model here on it, and it really does the same thing too. It gets that wave going. Honestly, it doesn't get that. That's interesting. So basically, it gets something else. I mean, yeah, it comes off the African coast. Yep. A little bit sooner and struggles, but holds its moisture bubble, and it does become a tropical depression, even a tropical storm near the Bahamas. This is a little bit far out. And then it goes through the Florida Keys and then into the Gulf, and it does try and develop into a hurricane in the Louisiana area. And then pretty much after that, you could tell the moisture does get a little bit better down the road. And this is with the European and GFS, some less Saharan dust. So that's a big uptick on the two models since I last recorded. Okay. CMC doesn't really show anything. If anything, it shows more of those cold fronts coming off the Gulf and developing these Gulf potentials. A lot of homegrown. That's been the thing with this season. A lot of homegrown activity. We'll see if that continues into the peak of hurricane season. But we'll have to wait and see. The European APHIS is the European AI model. Newer model, and honestly does this, but it does show that tropical wave trying to develop, struggles in the main development region, but as you get closer to the United States and western areas, becomes a tropical storm, and honestly becomes a pretty harsh hurricane right into Miami, Florida, and then into the Gulf. And oh my, I don't know what is gonna happen there, but that's something. That's 18Z. All right, I'm not trying to overhype this at all. It's still 7 to 10 days out, but there is a signal, our first legit real signal. And if you've been watching past Pat Predictor, he said the tropics will be waking up. Everybody thought maybe early July, but honestly, Saharan dust, dry air, wind shear really kept the tropics pretty quiet. But I do think this is more of a chance than we've seen before. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. We take the quiet. This is that tropical wave with the icon, nothing really showing. But we take a look at the GEFS model here, and we take a look at the next 240 hours. This is going to be with that tropical wave. And yeah, 18Z showing a lot more ensembles coming out of the main development region. Okay? That's going to have to keep an eye on. A little bit more of a signal showing on the GFS ensembles. Not crazy, but it does show that if it does get closer into the Caribbean and the North Atlantic, closer to the United States, the environment is better overall. And the European ensembles, I don't want to overhype it, but we go into 240 hours out, shows a lot of support. A little bit more north, but I'm not going to take this by one run, but we do get into a tropical storm, even a strong tropical storm and hurricane as we get into these islands over here. That is the strongest signal yet this year, and something to keep an eye out on if this does develop. This will be the D-named storm, and I think that's Dexter, so we have to keep an eye on that. But for now, we just take it as an area to watch. Nothing too legit, but there's still activity yet to come. Thank you guys for watching in this update. Hope you guys really like and enjoy. Please like and subscribe, and I'll be back here with another update tomorrow or the day after. Just depends. I get off work pretty late tomorrow around this time, and it's one of those busier days because it's Friday, but we'll see. Have a good night.